Alright, so now I'm gonna talk about some music theory. This is the circle of fifths. If I'm being completely honest, I couldn't tell you what it is. I know that the interval between each note, I guess, on the circle of fifths is what's it called? Is seven semitones. So, for example, if I had my guitar with me, it would be seven frets between each placement on the circle of fifths. Um, so down here we have enharmonic equivalents. I know what these are because I did GCSE music in year 10 to year 11. And these are pretty much notes that are the same note, as in their scales are exactly the same. They just have different names, I guess, depending on which key you're playing in. And talking about keys, if we had to write down each note down, like C, G, D, A, E, sheet music wouldn't look very nice. And that's where key signatures come from. And to tell which key is what, denoted. It's shown by either after the at the beginning of the staff, either by sharps or flats. So to remember which key is which, I use this system, right, which is F C G D A E B. And what it stands for is Father Charles goes down and ends battle. And this way shows you the number of sharps, and this way shows you the number of flats. We know that C major has 0 flats and 0 sharps. I remember that from music theory. And then as you go up, it goes 1, 1, 1. So you know that something is in the key of G if it has 1 sharp and it's an F. And then you know something is in D if it has 2 sharps, which would be shown on the line, which in the treble clef, the lines are E, G, B, D, and F. And the spaces are F, A, C, E, right? So I remember that as face in the space. And for the lines, I use Every Good Boy Deserves Fudge because that's what I learned in year 7. Yeah, so it's like that. And then for the flats, so it's a really nice system for remembering because you just go back to the beginning and then until you get to the right number, and you can easily tell what key it's in based on the number of flats or sharps. And down here I have some staff notation, I guess, but with meter on it. And the difference between meter and tempo is just the speed of the speed of the music, like how fast it is played. But meter is, it's broken down into 2 parts. The bottom part being the note and the top part being the beats. So 4/4 time is 4 crotchet beats. Like it's 4 beats in, 4 beats per bar, 4 crotchet beats. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. But then you can get different time, like which is more complex or compound, which is 6/8, which would mean 6 beats for each 8th note, right? So which is so here we have the notes, and here we have a breve, a semi-breve, we have a dotted semi-breve, a crotchet, a quaver, and a semi-quaver. So a breve is 4. The dot, I can't remember what it's just a dot, but it increases the note value by 1. So a breve is 4 beats, semi-breve is 2, a dotted semi-breve is 3. A quaver is a quarter beat. I say quarter beat because a breve counts as a whole note, so 1. And then a semi-breve is half. So if you go to half a semi-breve, I actually made a mistake there. If you go to half of a semi-breve, you get a quarter, which is then the crotchet beat, the one which I talked about in 4/4. And then when you go half of that, you get an eighth, which is the semi-quaver. And you can go half of that, and you get a demi-semiquaver, and you can keep on going until you get 1 over, I think 256, if my math is correct. And that is the extent of my music theory, I guess. I do know, sorry, I'm just checking the things you asked to talk about. A bit about rhythms in terms of how to describe them. So polyrhythms and how rhythm and syncopation and why we syncopate rhythms. It makes them more interesting to listen to and things like that. And I'm sorry for being nervous, but that's my music theory video.